These my dollars make it hurt.
What do you remember about the morning of your due date, the day they were going to...
The day they were supposed to induce?
Yeah, induce.
So, of course, I was very excited, very anxious. We were supposed to initially be there, I want to say like sometime at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And so I was up, man. I was ready. I was like, let's go. I feel terrible. I want this out of me. I want to just be myself again. And then they called and said, we don't have a bed. We don't have any room. So you're going to have to wait until this afternoon.
And what did I do?
You went back to sleep immediately. And I couldn't
Immediately.
sleep.
I was like, all right.
Could not sleep at all. I was so freaking mad. So mad.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
So then probably about maybe 2, 3 o'clock, they get you a bed.
Yeah, around they called her, I think around like 1-ish, and said, okay, so you can come around 2 o'clock. And so we did. They got us into a room, got settled in, and we waited.
We waited. Nothing was happening. You weren't dilating.
No.
We were just living in a hospital room.
Yep. She was just happy to stay right where she was.
And they gave you some medicine to help you dilate?
Yeah. So I don't know what the medicine is called, but whatever it is that they do to help you, help your labor along. They gave me that, but it really wasn't helping. Nothing was happening. Yeah. Or it was happening, I guess, slowly. But it was happening very slowly.
So it wasn't really until the next day, which I remember like midday. So this might have been the day before, but it was the middle of December, and I just went on the best walk in my life outside through the campus that's next door. I still think about that. It was just so warm and peaceful, and I felt so like at peace and comfortable. And you were sleeping, so you were probably at peace and comfortable too.
I was. I slept, I think, the majority of that day or that afternoon.
So then by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. So the next day, really still not much was happening. They had actually broke my water the night before. Like, it was like middle of the night. Because I remember waking up and I remember waking up being like real groggy, and he's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I was like, okay. And he like I could hear the swoosh of the water, but I guess that was gross. Sorry. But I didn't feel anything. And he was like, okay, you're good to go. And I fell back to sleep. So it was like middle of next day, which was Christmas Eve, that things really started moving along. I started having a little bit of contractions. I was dilated.
And that's when they I don't know how like freaked out you were by this, but they had that thing where like her heartbeat was lowering or
and they made I remember that because I had to stick my butt up in the air.
Yeah, they made you sit in all those crazy ways, and we're like, is this like bad or is this so normal? And it was kind of, it was like a bit freaky.
Yeah, I mean, they said it was, I guess, kind of a common thing that happens, but they just wanted to make sure that everything was good. So they had me reposition. I had to basically get on all fours in the hospital bed, stick my bare butt in the air, just sit there for a while. But it worked. Her heart rate came down. Everything was good.
So then, for the most part, it's a nurse comes and checks on you every now and then. Mm-hmm. But then when it's like go time, it's a whole team just invades your room. It's just 12 people.
Yeah, it was crazy. So many people.
And so you're officially going into labor. Mm-hmm. I'm there, your mom's there, and the whole team of doctors is there.
Well, even before that, because I started having contractions, and as soon as I had the first one, I was like, it's epidural time, guys. So
yeah, weren't you maybe gonna go no epidural?
Yeah, I thought about it literally until that first contraction.
That's a big needle.
I don't even think that first contraction was probably all that bad, but I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that needle's huge.
Yeah, I went ahead and opted for the epidural. and you weren't in the room when I got the epidural. I didn't see the needle.
No, I remember it.
Were you in there?
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember because I was like, that looks painful.
Well, I don't remember you, but I do remember my mom, because I was sitting on the side of the bed. My mom was standing in front of me. And as soon as it went in my back, like I tensed up a little bit, but it really didn't hurt that bad. But my mom passed out. She passed out.
I wasn't there because I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
I didn't think
Maybe
you were
there was
in
a
there.
second time they did something to your back. Maybe when they pulled it out. I don't know.
I don't know, but I remember because she was holding my arms, I was holding hers, and I was trying to hold her, but I was like, fuck, if I hold her and she pulls me into the floor, that's going to be bad for everybody. So I kind of let go, hoping that one of the two nurses, I guess, that was in the room would try to catch her, but they did not. They just let her fall, and she fell into the little wall
it
there.
happens, I'm sure.
I guess. God bless her. She's a little accident prone, so.
And then so your labor was
So fast.
like 15 minutes.
Oh, it was so fast, and it was so easy. After the epidural, I felt nothing. It
I
was
mean, you
great.
did some practice pushes first.
I
just
did.
To walk you through how it's going to be done. And then when it was time to push,
I pushed, and she was like, okay, I'm ready.
boop, boop, done.
Yeah, we were done.
And I remember one of the emotions I felt because I was debating on, like, should I look or not look? Like, do I want to see this or not?
Right.
And eventually curiosity won out, and I saw just the tip of her hair. And she had a lot of hair, so we thought.
Well, that's what they said. Like, and
Looking back now, man,
looking back at
it
it,
didn't look like much, but
it was just, I guess, a normal amount of baby hair.
yeah.
It wasn't a lot.
But I remember like the craziest feeling because that was the first time I saw her. Just the craziest feeling went over me, like almost lightheaded, maybe just like or majestic. I don't know, crazy. And then I just went back to focusing on you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
So, yeah. So I mean, they came out pretty easy, and you were. How would you feel? Were you good?
Yeah. I mean, I felt very emotional, very not physically tired, but I guess more emotionally, mentally tired, just happy that she was there. Happy to hold her for the first time, see what she looked like.
And so they had me cut what's it called?
The umbilical
The
cord.
umbilical cord.
Yeah.
And like I cut not a clean cut.
Yeah, you didn't cut it all the way through.
Just a little like strand was left.
You weren't.
And the
you
doctor
said you
just,
weren't expecting it to be so squishy.
yeah. And then the doctor just is like, it's fine. Just pulls it apart with his hands, which was weird. First time I did okay.
Yeah.
And I also remember like in that moment, I was like, I really want to like look at Ella, but obviously the doctors are doing stuff. They're cleaning her up. Well, they probably weren't cleaning her up yet, but they're checking on her. But in that moment, and I felt kind of selfish about it, like when I evaluated it later, but I was like, I just want to check on Kaysi. Like she just did this crazy thing. Like I just want to make sure you're okay. I felt so proud. So I'd look at Ella. She's busy.
Yeah.
It was a busy day in her life.
She had a lot to do. She was meeting a lot of new people.
So like I felt very proud and overwhelmed with like just amazed that like you just did that quite easily.
Yeah. I mean, it's childbirth is definitely amazing, and women in general are just amazing to carry a child through 9 months and then bring it into the world from their bodies. But I didn't feel like I did anything like super incredible. I think probably because it was so fast. Like
It was fast.
Like,
My mom was in labor for
like 48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah. So like I'm like sitting here expecting like this big long process because you know everybody you hear is like saying, "Oh my gosh, my labor was so long, or it was so hard, or it was so painful," and it was like 15 minutes, and I was done.
in and out. And then we have to stay in the hospital that night. And they mostly just leave us with Ella the whole time. They're like,
They did, which
Like,
was
what do we-
crazy.
what do
I
we
was
do?
like, what am I doing with this thing?
what do we do? And
That was weird.
I mean, they took her off one time to like wash her off, and then like yeah, she was there. And then
Mm-hmm.
the next day is when they let us go home. You have to pass like a car seat test
Mm-hmm.
to make sure it's safe. And then you have to drive home, which is a scary drive. You're like, 10 and 2.
Yeah. It's a painful drive.
Yeah.
When you've just given birth.
Make it hurt.